Austin Price of Volquest.com. He joins us via the Stanley Fenton and Gates hotline. It's Josh and Swain here on 99.1 The Sports Animal. Kevin Simon filling in for Josh Ward. All right, Austin Price, big day today. Boo Carter returning to Tennessee after a visit to Michigan. We hear the sale that Michigan is using, playing both ways. Is that the sale that Tennessee is also using? And if not, if so, what is the sale for Boo Carter from Tennessee?
I just think that it's relationships. I mean, Boo's been up here a million times. He's back again today. He'll be here through tomorrow, and then he'll head to New York for his official visit or his official announcement coming up on Saturday. And, I think that, the pitch is pretty clear, stay in state, what you get from being a, in-state kid long-term, with this fan base and everything that goes with it, it far outweighs leaving the state. And, again, I think everything points Tennessee on Boo, and the fact he's back here unofficially today, really, kind of draws a spotlight on that.
What type of visitors do you envision returning or coming to Knoxville for the first time this weekend? Word is there's going to be a couple guys hitting Knoxville. Any players for sure that will be on their unofficial visit this weekend?
Well, Tennessee will host about 13 to 15 official visitors this weekend, Jason, and really they're highlighted by, Edwin Spillman, mid-state linebacker. He and Caleb Beasley will be in town, and then the two big D linemen, Williams Winery and Camarion Franklin. Like, it's a big weekend for Rodney Garner, not in the overabundance of numbers that he has in, but the quality. Like, you have two big-time dudes in this weekend. And, Winery's coming off that visit to Oklahoma last weekend. Tennessee and Oklahoma have been perceived to be the top two teams for a while. Georgia hosted them officially a few weeks ago. Some people are saying that Georgia's climbed in it a little bit. I still think it's Tennessee and Oklahoma for Winery. He's the number one defensive lineman in the country, number 2 overall player by On3. And, just can flat get after it. Then Franklin, North Mississippi kid. There's some people around him that really like Tennessee that are in the school down there. But, again, he's not too far from Ole Miss. Auburn's also heavily in play there. So a big weekend for G as he'll host two big-time dudes this weekend.
Hey, what's going on, Austin?
What's up, Real Viper?
Well, that's my dad, but that was a long time ago. But
I think you should. We could get you on VolQuest. You could be Real Viper Junior. Like I think that's what we do. We get you on there, let you kind of like bring back the old vibes with your dad.
There you go. The lineage continues. What do you see as being some of the biggest needs for this recruiting cycle that Tennessee needs to address by position, and then how are they going about addressing those needs?
Well, offensive tackle, to me, is the biggest need, bar none. It doesn't matter. I mean, quarterbacks are uber important, right? And I think defensive lineman is right there. But I think for this team, I think it's offensive tackle. They got a couple of guys in this weekend, Daniel Calhoun, Marquise Easley. Then next weekend, you're talking about Bennett Warren's coming to town, Ronan O'Connell. Then they've got the guys that are committed, like Jesse Perry and Gage Ginther will be in the next couple of weeks. Perry in this weekend, but for Marquise Easley, kid from Illinois, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee. You're talking about some heavy hitters that the Vols are trying to compete against for Easley, and Tennessee would love to become a major player there. And we'll see if this weekend they can get that accomplished. But I think that it's not even close. I think offensive tackle is by far and away the most important position of need on this team. I'm not sure I can look at Tennessee's roster and go, okay, that's for sure a starting offensive tackle next year. Maybe somebody develops, maybe somebody really, grows into that position, the next 365 days or so. But, like, there's nobody that you can just go, okay, that's for sure going to be Tennessee starting right tackle or Tennessee starting left tackle a year from now. So I think the more quality bodies you can get in the room, whether that be freshmen or at the end of the season going through the transfer portal and kind of doing what Tennessee did this past year with John Campbell from Miami, I think that's something they've got to do. So I think offensive tackle is far and away the biggest need, and they're trying to address it by getting as many kids here as they can, and we'll see if they can land one or two.
Austin Price, Volquest.com, here on Josh and Swain. The 2025 number one player in the state, George McIntyre, was on campus. What can you tell us about that visit? I know it's a young man who's pretty far out from making any, decisions or signing to go to a school. But, hey, he was here, man. He plays quarterback. So what can you tell us about him?
Well, George is going to say, Tennessee's, a school that he has a lot of interest in. He's really tight with Josh Heupel. In fact, I would tell you that, he and Heupel have as good a relationship as he has with anybody. Like, I think that's the number one relationship he has with any coach is with Josh Heupel. Sister's going to start here in the fall. Mom went here. Grandfather coached at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's not really in play. This is a big boy battle. It's Clemson, it's LSU, it's Alabama, it's Tennessee. As of right now, I think Tennessee is in a great spot for George. I don't think George will do anything. I think if you ask George when's he going to do something, I think he'd say about a year from now. Now, I think it's sooner than that. I think the earliest George does anything is probably December, like right after his junior year. But I don't see him doing anything until after he plays his junior season. I think he'll take a lot of visits this fall and go see a lot of games, a lot of atmospheres. But I still feel like in the end, Tennessee has an excellent shot of landing the young man from Brentwood Academy.
Austin Price, Volquest.com. Tennessee baseball team hitting Omaha for the College World Series, second time in 3 years, and everyone's excited about Tennessee going. And a lot of chatter about, all right, let's go ahead and get this stadium renovations done. Let's get it done now. Well, you guys over there at Volquest, you've talked about, hey, there's a process that's in play. It's coming. Can you explain to the good people about the baseball renovations and that process?
Well, it never happens as quick as anybody wants, and that includes people on campus. They have to go, in front of, board of trustees. They have to get stuff approved. They have, get permits, so on and so forth. I would look for all that stuff to start happening, in August. Either way, like the stadium is being prepared to have a lot of renovation done. You'll have a certain it'll happen in stages, kind of like Neyland Stadium did. Next year, I think you'll see an enhanced, better viewing product as far as like better seating and stuff down the left field line. See a few other tweaks. But, this is something that, it's very important to the administration. Again, I get it doesn't happen as fast as everybody wants it to. And, I'll be the first to go. That's something that I'm ignorant on. I don't understand at times why it takes so long to get things done. But I also do know in my job that there are checks and balances that have to, and boxes you have to check before you can do certain things. And so, again, I'm ignorant on, why it takes, so long to, get little things done. But I've seen enough, whether it be, putting in a bunker at a golf course where, you have to get permits from the local county and stuff like that to just dig a hole and put some sand in it. A land that you own, but like I think with this, it's something similar. It's one of those deals that you'll start seeing some real movement there over the next 2 months, and I don't think for 1 minute that it's not important to anybody on campus because I know it is.
Austin Price, Volquest.com. Anyone standing out so far? I know the games are made during this time of the off season. The first session of summer school has officially started. Any word about a particular player kind of standing out or a group of players? I asked you that because a couple of weeks ago I hit campus up and just saw Ramel Keaton just working his butt off. Every time it seems like I've been in the complex, it's Ramel Keaton on the field putting in work. Any word of guys that have stood out that you can share with us today?
Yeah, I mean, I really like what Tennessee, the growth that some of these younger running backs have had. I think Jalen Wright's had a fabulous offseason. His mindset is really, I think, turned over. And, again, I think part of that is, like, he saw the growth and what happened with Jalen Hyatt. And he and Jalen Hyatt are two really tight friends. And I think the buy-in, not that it was bad, because I don't think it was, but I think he saw, like, okay, Jalen took this huge step. Now look at him. I've got to just get intently focused on, on my craft. I think he's really, grown. He's gotten bigger. He came in at about $180, $185. He's 210 now. Cam Selden has had a really strong off season. Younger back. Now, again, how much run is he going to get? I mean, who knows? I mean, I think it depends on, what's the health of, what's Dylan Sampson doing? And how do they use Cam Selden? At wide receiver, I continue to hear great things on Horton. Ramel Keaton is just a worker. I love that Ramel Keaton wears number 80. It's kind of old school.
Yep.
A lot of guys, are so, hung up on single digits. And I get the two guys I'm talking to right now. We're single digits, right? But, I like that they wear kind of like – I wish, if I'm – I think I'm a bigger fan of just kind of numbers from a standpoint of I love that Dylan Sampson wears 24. Like when I was a kid, Charlie Garner wore 30 and Little Man wore 33 and Aaron Hayden wore 24 and Jay Graham wore 25. Those were running back numbers. And then they had that big shift and everybody wanted to go to single digits. So I kind of like when people, wear some old school type stuff. And defensively, I'm really excited to kind of see what Kamal Haddon can do in fall camp. I think a lot of people had written him off, and I'll be the first to say I was one of them because, he just kind of got sideways at the end of last year and, wasn't doing everything he needed to do. And then in spring ball, he was uber focused and had a great 15 practices to the point where I think right now, you said that we're starting a game, Kamal Haddon and Danico Slaughter are your two starting corners. Can he continue that? I think that's a big key for me is does he stay dialed in and focused? I think that's something I'm really watching for. And then Bryson Eason is the guy that I continue to hear a lot of rave reviews about on the defensive line. Has really, gotten himself in phenomenal shape. And, I know Coach Garner is really, 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 really high on him and hoping to get everything he can out of him because in talking to Coach G, he'll tell you that Bryson is as talented, if not the most talented guy in the room from a pure skill set standpoint.
The Redshirt Junior definitely need this group by committee on the defensive line to take that next step, I think, for this defense to take the next step. Austin Price, Volquest.com for all your recruiting news, everything you need. Now, did we miss anything, Austin, on the recruiting front?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the big 2 weekends, I've kind of used this analogy on our board. You can use it either way. You can say it's a horse race or a NASCAR race. Either way, Tennessee's kind of been laying back in the pack. And it's now go time the next 2 weekends, and they got to hope that they have a pretty clean track in front of them because, like in Alabama made a huge move with Amari Jefferson last week. I think they are the leader for AJ heading into his Georgia and Tennessee visits. But I think Tennessee can go track them down. They just got to go do it. So, again, these next couple of weeks are really, really big on the recruiting trail. And, the month of June heading into July, the next 4 to 6 weeks will tell the tale for this 2024 class. You could be sitting there 6 weeks from now going, man, what a run. Or you could be going, okay, what happened? So the next 4 to 6 weeks will be really pivotal for Tennessee's recruiting class in 2024.
Awesome. Hey, Austin, man, great stuff as always.
No
Thank
doubt.
you so much for your time, and we look forward to it next week.